Have you ever wondered how life unfolded during the Archaeozoic era? The Archaeozoic era, also known as the Archean Eon, is a time period that spans from 4 billion years ago to about 2.5 billion years ago. It is a chapter of Earth's history that can seem almost alien to us, yet it set the stage for everything we know today. The Archaeozoic era began about 4 billion years ago, not long after the Earth itself formed. These were the earliest days of our planet, a time of intense geological activity. The Earth's crust was still forming and cooling, and volcanic activity was rampant. This was a world without plants, without animals, and without the blue skies we know today. The first billion years of the Archaeozoic era was a time of constant change. The Earth's crust, once a molten sea of magma, began to cool and solidify. This newly formed crust was thin and unstable, constantly reshaped by volcanic eruptions and the impact of celestial bodies. This period of time is often referred to as the Hadean Eon, named after the Greek god of the underworld, Hades, for its hellish conditions. Around 3 billion years ago, the world began to change. The crust had cooled enough to allow the formation of continents, and the first bodies of water began to appear. These were not the clear blue oceans we know today, but rather they were likely a hot, mineral-rich soup. In this soup of water and minerals, the first signs of life began to appear. The earliest life forms were simple, single-celled organisms, similar to today's bacteria. These organisms did not require oxygen to survive. Instead, they thrived in the oxygen-poor environment of the early Earth. Through a process called chemosynthesis, they were able to derive energy from the minerals in the water around them. As these life forms multiplied and evolved, they began to change the world around them. Some developed the ability to photosynthesize, converting the sun's energy into food and releasing oxygen as a byproduct. This was a slow process, but over hundreds of millions of years, these tiny organisms transformed the atmosphere of the Earth, filling it with the oxygen that would allow more complex life to evolve. The Archaeozoic era ended around 2.5 billion years ago, marking the beginning of the Proterozoic era. By this time, the Earth was a very different place. The continents had formed, the oceans had filled, and the atmosphere was rich with oxygen. Life, once confined to simple, single-celled organisms, was ready to take its next big step. In summary, the Archaeozoic era was a time of incredible change and evolution. It was a time when the Earth transformed from a fiery, inhospitable world into a place capable of supporting life. It was the era when life itself emerged, setting the stage for the complex web of organisms that populate the Earth today. The Archaeozoic era may be a distant chapter in Earth's history, but it is a chapter that holds the key to understanding our planet's past and possibly its future.